I had a really good workout this morning. Thank you, Jamie, for the invite. Had a great time working out with your crew this morning. Thank you, Shep, for your hospitality. Always enjoy getting together with you guys. Jamie encouraged me to do my next post on work-life balance. He was trying to get me to play golf more often. And so I've been thinking about it. And I don't know if there really is such a thing as work-life balance. I know that there are times when work seems really, really hard, and there are times when work seems really, really easy. And it's, you know, that, I'm not talking about like years and years, hopefully not years and years, but definitely weeks. Like for the last 4 to 6 weeks, work has seemed really hard. For the last week or so, it seemed really easy. That has a lot to do with something I talk with clients a lot about, which is highest and best use. Every single person has what I will call their highest and best use. It's that thing that when they're doing it, it's the best thing for them to be doing. It's the highest value add, it's the highest money earning, it's the highest. Finding highest and best use though is usually a chore because your job description doesn't even think about it. So let's imagine for a second that there's 3 types of activities that this business has to develop job descriptions for. There are sales activities, dealing with the customer, finalizing sales, taking orders, making sure they're happy, all that good stuff. There are technical aspects, building the product, delivering the service, making sure that the plumbing fixtures fit together correctly, all that good stuff. And then there's administrative stuff, like balancing the checkbook and making sure that office supplies are where they need to be, and negotiating the lease agreements and buying equipment and all that stuff. In the early days, it's pretty much a given that the owner is going to do all of these things. Here's the problem with that whole scenario. This administrative task, which is reconciling the bank statement, also has to be done with this administrative task, which is negotiating the new lease with the landlord, which also has to do with this administrative task, which is calling a customer back and making sure that the invoice that they just paid is the one that they meant to pay, which has to go along with this administrative task, which is making sure that the janitor clean the office in the way that they were contracted to clean the office. Within this small group of administrative tasks, you start to lump one person's job description, and you need a person who's good at just putting their head down and reconciling to the last penny on a bank statement, who's good at negotiations with a landlord, who's great at customer service and following up and making sure people pay their bills, and who is also good enough to cajole people into turning their timesheets on time to do payroll. Within that group of administrative tasks, you have 4 or 5 ideal personality types. The same thing goes for these sales guys. Within this sales group, you've got being able to relate to and problem solve and build relationships with customers. And you have filling out paperwork and turning it in on time so that we know who to invoice for what and what to ship where when. And you have training new salespeople who come on board and need somebody to mentor them. Just because you call all of these items parts of this salesperson job description doesn't mean there's a human being alive who can operate in their sweet spot doing all of this stuff. That's too close. So am I saying you need to throw away all of your job descriptions? No, that would be silly. But what I am saying is you need to recognize that when you get frustrated and when work feels really, really hard, it's probably an indication that a lot of the stuff on your job description is there just because you have a title, just because you're an admin role, you're a sales role, you're an operations role, you're a technician role, you're a managerial role. And when stuff starts to seem hard, when life is just like you're frustrated with work every single day and every single day seems like a drag, there's a really good chance that you're operating outside of your highest and best use. And if you go back and look at your job description, you're probably going to find a lot of things that don't fit your God-given talents and abilities. And if that's the case, take a step back. If you're the business owner, maybe you should start telling people it's okay to have the sales guy who loves to negotiate handle the lease renegotiations for your office space. Maybe if you're the business owner, you can go to the person who loves to reconcile the bank statement down to the last penny and ask them if they would mind working with, training, mentoring the salespeople who have a horrible time turning in their paperwork. I'm just asking you to consider that a lot of the stuff that might be on your job description is there arbitrarily because it fit into a nice, neat little box at some point during the business's development. But now, at the scale you're at, with the number of people you're at, with the number of customers you're at, whatever, it doesn't necessarily fit anymore. And if you have people who are spending a large percentage of their time outside their highest and best use, your business is suffering, your customers are suffering, most important, your people are suffering, and you owe it to them to figure out how you can help. See you guys tomorrow. Goes for these sales guys. Within this sales, God, this guy went, all right.